Have you ever watched your life drift in slow motion? Not in a dramatic movie scene sort of way, more like one quiet little compromise at a time, a slow shift. And it starts harmless, almost invisible. You hit snooze because you're tired and it's cold and the bed feels like a convincing argument. You skip the stretch at the end of your workout because it doesn't really matter. You take that shortcut because you are busy and you've earned it. You tell yourself that you'll deal with that thing later, tomorrow. And later or tomorrow quietly becomes next week. And the dangerous part is each one makes perfect sense in the moment. It's rational. But stack enough small decisions together and one day you look up and realize you're living in a version of life that you didn't actually choose. You just sort of arrived here. You woke up and went, well, how did this happen? And team, none of this is because you're lazy. It's not because you're broken. I'll repeat that again. It's not because you're broken. It's because repetition is powerful, more powerful than we think. Repetition also becomes normal, and normal becomes your standard. And those standards, when they begin to slide, everything else slides with it. Your energy, your patience, your confidence, your relationships, the way you show up in life. So today I want to share with you 5 hard rules that I live my life by. Not because I am perfect at them. I'm very capable of being an absolute pest to my own goals. Don't you worry about that. But because when I follow them, life, it just gets simpler. Not easier, simpler. Team, welcome back to Built Resilient. My name is Burt Walsh. I'm a keynote speaker, and today, hey, you can consider me your coach. Last episode, we talked about the comfort crisis. It was a cracking episode. If you didn't listen to it, go back, although I think I may have been a bit rushed in my delivery. That's neither here nor there. Go listen to it. Great episode. We talked about the comfort crisis and how the world is basically designed now to remove friction, to remove effort, to remove discomfort. Which, honestly, it actually sounds great until you realize it can quietly make you softer, I suppose. And these rules, the 5 rules that we're going to go through today, these are how I stopped that slide of comfort. They're the lines I draw with myself so I'm not negotiating who I want to be every single day. And if I'm honest with you, team, I initially thought that personal growth rules, self-improvement rules, rules you hold yourself accountable to, it's all about motivation. Finding the motivation to hold yourself to a higher standard. But team, I do not trust motivation. Motivation is that mate who says, yeah, bro, I'll help you move house. And then on moving day, you get a serendipitous message that says, sorry, can't do it. I've got a weird stomach. Motivation comes and goes just like that friend. Mood, it can come and go as well. Energy, it comes and goes. But rules, specifically these 5 rules, they are what you do when your mood is useless. And look, rules aren't there to make you rigid. I don't want that for you. They're there to make you reliable. It's a boundary. Because life will bargain with you. Your brain will negotiate. Especially when you're tired, when you're stressed, when you're overwhelmed, or you're feeling sorry for yourself. A hard rule, a specific one, removes that debate. And the funny part is, rules feel really restrictive until you realize how much mental space you get back when you stop arguing with yourself and those voices in your head every single day. Allow me to introduce rule number 1. Own it fast. This is the first rule because it sets the tone for everything else. When something goes wrong, when life hits, when you're disappointed in yourself, when all those plans you spent hours putting together fall over, you can sit in the emotional mud for days, for weeks, for months. Why is this happening? This isn't fair. Of course the world would do this to me. Why me, and why me? And look, these thoughts, hey, they're human. I have them too. But they're not helpful. Owning it, and owning it fast, means that I move quickly from emotion to responsibility. Not blame, responsibility. It's the difference between this happened to me and this is what's happening. So what's the next step? That shift gives you traction, it gives you momentum. In leadership, you can see it pretty clearly. A team doesn't need a perfect leader up there. They just need a leader who can stabilize the chaos, stabilize the moment. Someone who doesn't panic, doesn't blame, doesn't spiral. Someone who goes, all right, here's where we are, team. We're all in this together, and here's what we're doing next. Stable leadership, stable communication. And I try to practice that in my own life as best I can. If I've dropped the ball, if I fail, quote unquote, I don't sit there building a case against myself for 3 days. I allow myself to grieve, but then I own it fast. I correct it fast the best way I can. I build momentum fast towards that correction. I move forward. Because dragging guilt around doesn't make you better. It doesn't. You know this. You don't need me to tell you this. It just makes you tired. It just makes you exhausted. Which moves me into rule number 2. It's owning the morning. A bit of a weird one, bit of a left, but it's such an important one. And this one is a non-negotiable for me. So much so that when my morning doesn't go right, I actually get quite frustrated, which just makes things worse, I know. But it's a non-negotiable for me because my mornings are where life is either steered or surrendered. You either win or you lose in that morning window. And look, team, I don't want this to be the preachy fitfluencer. You have to be up at 4:30 a.m. every single day. You must have your ritualistic cacao drink with this amount of magnesium and hydrate with 7 liters of water. I don't want to be that. You can relax today. That's not me. I've got kids. I've got a life that is chaotic. I've got days where the morning starts with someone yelling, "Daddy, can I have a cuddle?" And then storming out of the bedroom like I've done something wrong because I wasn't fast enough to come and cuddle him. I get it. So owning the morning isn't about waking up early. It's just about waking up intentionally. Because the truth is, if you don't choose how your day starts, the world will choose it for you. Your phone will choose it for you. Your calendar chooses it for you. Other people's urgency chooses it for you. So I try to own the first part of my day, even if it is tiny and small and just a coffee by myself. Maybe a bit of movement, maybe a bit of light, maybe a bit of stillness, a moment where I'm not consuming content, a moment where I'm just deciding. And I'm telling you, that's the difference between feeling like you're living your life and feeling like life is living you. What a beautiful motivational speaker quote that is. I need to write that down. Mornings are where standards are the easiest to keep. And, if I'm honest, the easiest to break. The snooze button is never just the snooze button, team. It's a vote. It's practice towards being a better you. So I try to win the morning in a way that suits real life. Not perfect, just deliberate. So we've got own it fast, own the problem fast, and we've got own the morning. Will rule 3 be another ownership one? Let's find out. It's not. It's called protect your sleep like it's your job. And look, if mornings are the steering wheel, I'll talk about that ad nauseum for the rest of my life, then sleep, it becomes your engine. And a lot of people are trying to build a high-performance work and personal life with a completely exhausted brain. And team, it doesn't work. When you're tired, everything gets harder. You know this. You're more reactive, you're more anxious, your cravings get louder, your patience, it is smaller, it's shorter, your decision-making gets worse, you got brain fog, your energy's low, you know. And team, tired people, they just don't make great choices most of the time. They make convenient ones. So sleep isn't a luxury, it's leadership. If you're a parent, you feel this. I feel it, and I know you feel it too. The difference between a well-rested day and a sleep-debt day is basically 2 different personalities, 2 different yous. So I treat sleep, our family treats sleep like it matters, because, hey, it does. And not every night is perfect, far from it. And I'm not pretending that every night should be perfect, but we protect our sleep where we can, because I know what happens when I don't. Rule number 4. It's going to be a hard one for a lot of people, but the more I realize and practice this rule, the more I understand just how powerful it is. Rule number 4 is be accountable when no one is watching. How you do anything is how you do everything. This is the one that quietly changes everything. A few years ago, I decided I wanted to be more accountable to myself. If I'm honest with you, I cut corners. Even though I was a fitness guy, when no one was watching, I wasn't walking the talk. I knew I wasn't, but I was still putting on the charade like I was. And so I wanted to be more accountable to myself, especially when there is no audience in front of me, no clients, no crowd. Because it's easy to look disciplined when someone's watching. Just ask any influencer on the internet. It's easy to behave when the lights are on. The real test is what you do when no one will know. And so I started practicing this in tiny, really small 1% ways. I'd see rubbish on the street and I'd pick it up. In fact, Jane taught me that. I'd finish a workout and do a stretch even when I didn't feel like it. I'd catch myself reaching for that little shortcut. The quick mouthful of chocolate on the way out the door, the one that's kept in the door of the fridge, the Tony's chocolate, the delicious one. But when I started holding myself accountable, I'd pause. Not because I'm trying to be a saint or I'm trying to virtuous signal, but because I'm trying to be consistent with my life. And here's the thing that surprised me. The more I became accountable behind closed doors, the easier it became to be consistent and authentic when those doors are open. Because I wasn't performing integrity, I was practicing it. And that spills over into everything that you do, your work, your parenting, your relationships, your health, your leadership. Your private standards behind closed doors become your public stability. And rule number 5, before we put all of these beautiful rules together, do not settle for normal. Do not settle for mediocrity. Life is too short to be the same as someone else. Because normal in 2026 is a funny thing. Normal is being constantly distracted, but calling it busy. Normal is being tired all the time, but calling it an adult life. Normal is putting things off, but calling it just a season of life. And team, I don't want that for you. I don't want you to live that charade. I don't want it for me either. And hey, that sounds a bit alarmist, I know. Normal isn't automatically bad. It's good in some instances, but it's not automatically good. Normal is just whatever you repeat, not what anyone else does, whatever you repeat. So this rule is a reminder for me to question the default, to ask, is this the standard that I want? Is this the standard of life that I want? Is this the life I'm building on purpose, or the life I'm just drifting into, the one that's just given to me? Because a lot of people don't ruin their lives. They don't. They just slowly lower their standards until their life feels small. So team, I'm going to stand on a soapbox. Imagine me on top of a mountain. I've got a big horn in front of my face, and I'm saying these words to the world. Do not settle for normal. Choose the harder standard. Choose the better habit. Choose the honest conversation. Choose the growth circle. Choose the version of you that you will respect. Not because life needs to be extreme or Instagrammable, but because life needs to be intentional. So that's the point of these rules. They don't make life easy. They shouldn't. They simply make life clearer. When you own the problem in front of you fast, you don't waste a week in guilt. When you own the morning every day, the day doesn't hijack you. When you protect your sleep, you stop making tired decisions. When you practice accountability privately, you become steadier publicly. And when you don't settle for normal, you stop drifting. Rules reduce negotiation. They reduce decision fatigue. They give you a backbone when you are tired. And if you are listening today and you are thinking, that sounds great, what a motivational speech, but I have been off track, Bart, you're right. You don't need to adopt all 5 of these things today. You don't. I just want you to borrow one. Let it be simple. So here's your challenge, but not in the cringy 8-week challenge, change your life transformation short away. In the one that actually builds momentum. I want you to pick one rule for the next 24 hours, just like last week. You have 24 hours to pick one of these rules. Maybe it's protecting your sleep tonight. Maybe it's owning something fast instead of letting it fester. One rule, one day. And then I want you to execute. Live your life by it. Because that's how standards come back. Not through hype, not through a self-help podcast, but through repetition that you action. Timo, hey, thank you for listening. It's a bit surreal for me. I'm in a podcast studio all by myself when I do these episodes, but the feedback I've been getting from you, the people who watch this stuff and listen to this silly little show, it's making an impact, and I really appreciate your contribution and your support. If you can do me a favor, give us a 5-star ranking on Apple Podcast, on Spotify. Make sure you're subscribing to the show or following the show, whatever button is, on whatever platform that you are on. And thank you once again for your support. Share the episode where you can. If you see the clips up on social media, give us a like as well. Thank you. And team, I'll leave you with this today. Sometimes people don't need motivation. They just need a line in the sand. They need a simple, albeit very effective rule. Thank you for listening. Remember to choose resilience.